out here.
Hi, my name is Carlos. I travel, I tattoo, and I take it all in. One country at a time, one tattoo at a time. Travel is what inspires me. Tattooing is what guides me. This is how I interpret the world. This is the global canvas.
What's up, y'all? We got a new piece today. Woo! This is gonna start. Could be another 20 episodes, could be another 30, could be 50. Who knows? But it's another big, beautiful painting. This time, as you can see the reference up here, we got a hockey fight. And this photograph, I don't know who the photographer is on it, but it was originally shared in the Detroit Free Press. I'm going to give them credit. I'm going to try to interview them if I can track them down, and then show them the oil painting when it's all done. So yeah, that's what's going on. We got Cadet in the chat. What's up, Cadet? Good to see you. Thank you so much for swinging by. With this new setup here, getting the camera figured out, I don't have a camera that I can train directly on my palette like I normally do, but I will be able to show you guys my palette, and I can do that really quickly by just bringing this in. And you can see we got a few colors pre-mixed, some blues, some taupe, fleshy type colors, and a couple neutrals. Essentially what we're trying to get done here is I want to work on the background section up here, which is the people behind the boards, behind the glass, and then the boards themselves, and maybe some ice. I don't know exactly. Make sure I got this set up right for you guys. I don't know exactly how far we get tonight. If we can get all of that done, that'd be awesome. But if not, we will we'll just keep rocking it out. So let me just check my camera here to make sure. Yeah, you can see pretty much everything we're doing right now. Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited, Cadet. I think this one's gonna be cool. A little bit of backstory since this is episode 1 on this series. I did oil painting for a number of years, like 15, 16 years, something like that. And then I stopped for a good 5 years, maybe, we're estimating. And then I hopped back in and did a series, a smaller oil painting on the last playlist. And that painting looks like this. You can see the start to finish project on the playlist that's currently titled Oil Painting Foo. And if you dig, cool. But otherwise, this is going to be a completely different process. This particular painting style is going to be more direct. We're going to go section by section and just kind of finish areas as we go. The last painting that we did, we just built it up from the ground level up by sketching in with some oils. You can see there's already a pre-sketched image here. What I did painstakingly is printed the original image of this photograph on many, many pieces of paper, taped them all together, then put carbon transfer paper on the back of that, then adhered all that to the canvas, traced over the top of the paper, and then voila, gives us this backdrop. I have the paper version here. You can see some of my lines and how they correspond to these sections here. So this is what I used for my initial image transfer. We're gonna jump right in and use, what else we got in the chat? Algebra, what's up, buddy? So yeah, we're just gonna jump right in and we're gonna use some big brushes to cover big areas. And we'll see what we can't get done. Now, what I'd like to do is drop paint down and indicate approximately where everything's going to go, and then we'll blend it out. So same process as we're used to in regards to painting and then using another brush to just kind of like smear stroke into stroke. That's what we're gonna do tonight. I actually need to pour out some liquid. This will be easier if I don't. Here we go. Today is a good day. I was looking forward to the stream too. Awesome. Yeah, I had a great day of tattooing. I'm gonna have a great evening of painting. Okay, there we go. So the thing that I don't like about this painting method, there's a lot of things I don't like about this painting method, but I'm choosing to do it just for the educational purposes here, right? But the thing that I don't like that's striking me right now is there's no warm ground. We didn't like tone the entire canvas with orange or red. That's something that I would normally do. And beyond that, not just something I normally do, but I feel it's crucial. However, the only other time I ever did a large-scale painting with this technique, it worked out really, really good, and it's one of the best paintings I've ever painted. It's one of my self-portraits, and we did it this way with no toned ground. So, go figure. It's gonna be interesting painting what we're doing up here today, because this is technically, I mean, it's all out of focus, right? But there's technically information that's going on back here. This is going to have people that are watching a hockey fight take place, right? But we're not going to see any of their real details because they're going to be so blurred out and out of focus. It's kind of rad. So we get to see what kind of illusion we can bring together to indicate where people are, how they're standing, who they're rooting for, all without actually seeing those details. And this will be, I always like to start with the most boring stuff first, just to knock it out. That way I'm not like dreading it later. So if we jumped in and went straight to like fists and blood, yeah, hockey fight, it would be exciting. However, when it came time to do this part, the background, it would be really boring, and I would not blame you for skipping those episodes. And right now, I got you locked in. The first strokes are always the most fascinating here, so sorry, but you're gonna see me paint some background tonight. So fun. Reference images, so sick too. I know. I remember seeing, I wasn't in the audience for this fight, but I remember seeing this when it took place, and then immediately, well, not immediately, but when the Free Press released the picture of it, the reason I loved this, and I've been hanging on to this one for years, obviously. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is just an applicator here and he hasn't been playing for a while. But when I saw the painting, or the photograph, I was like, that looks like a Renaissance painting. Like, just the layout of everything. And then I threw the armature of the rectangle over it, this like artistic method of drawing out the harmonies of a composition, and everything aligned perfectly, and I was like, this is just nuts. I'd never seen something like that before, so very excited to paint this. And it's on a larger scale, obviously. It's not on the scale that I would like, but I don't have the ability to paint on the scale that this deserves. This deserves like a 9-foot by 5-foot canvas, right? I don't have that kind of room in my apartment. Are you crazy? So yeah, I pre-mixed all my pigments a few days ago, and they've been sitting in my paint palette airtight container. And fortunately, so far they seem like they're working. I was a little nervous. I was gonna paint a couple nights ago, and I just didn't have it in me. So I was a little nervous that they would have got too dry to use for today, but here we are, and it is working. This is cool. This part of the process is a little abstract. You know what I mean? A lot of just indications of things without actual things. But the most fun, the major excitement and satisfying part of tonight is going to be after we get sections done and we can just blur it out with obliterating brush strokes. It's going to be very satisfying. So we got algebra here, we got cadet here. What's new with you guys? I'd love to hear what's going on in your world. Like I said, I've been tattooing. That's my job. So as exciting as it is, it's so day in, day out for me that I look forward to painting. I don't know if you guys got to see the video that I had posted going to the art store, but I picked up some supplies for this painting in particular. I got some disposable wax palette paper, so I don't have to continuously scrape and clean my glass surface. I can just rip a new piece off and then mix up my colors there. Let's see. I love laying down color blocking. It's one of my favorite parts of drawing, as much as I hate rendering and stuff. Cats just announced a show near me, so I'm extremely stoked. Other than that, no news. Nothing much over there. Just been drawing and sitting around. I've also been drawing as per usual. Awesome. Sharing in the excitement of creating art. The laying down and like blocking in these sections, it is very fun. It is, I always use this word, but it is very satisfying. And I like laying bands of color and then blending them into each other, like softly, like blocking color next to each other and then just kind of merging the space between. That's always really fun. I'll get to do a good amount of that here tonight and in this painting in general. What I keep dreaming of and I can't wait for is just being able to sit down and focus on like one elbow or one knee and just get all those little brush strokes in there, texturize the heck out of it, and then move on to the next section and not really have a need to come back. Like, yes, coming back is going to be important if I need to layer stuff, if I need to dial in some details or whatever, but like the finish as you go aspect of this is very like rewarding, because you can finish a session and then immediately like be like, well, I can see my progress and I don't have to worry about jumping back into that. Where sometimes the rest of a painting, it can get a little daunting, right? It's like, oh man, like, you know, I gotta re-render all of this stuff. I gotta blend all of this. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna get this effect to work? Yada, yada, yada. Yachty. Alright. I'm going to try my best to save one brush for fleshy type tones and one brush for these big bright colors. This just reminded me I have a drawing that's in flat colors but not rendered right now. It's sitting on my laptop. Too lazy to finish that. So tell me what that means, having the drawing on your laptop. So you work digital, obviously, is what you're indicating here. But like you block it in digitally and then just use like a smudge tool or something to blend your subsections together? And it's very important to remember in this method of painting to always paint on top of paint. Don't try to put your brush strokes next to each other like this. Put one down and get right into it, because it's all going to have to get blended anyway. And if you don't get ahead of it and start putting brush strokes into brush strokes, you're going to have a nightmare trying to hide all the little tiny white holes of canvas that are peeking back through. My buddy Tyree, who donated the work lamp that we're using here, hit me up and he was asking me if I'm going to be selling the painting that we did in the first stream. And I told him I do not think that that's something I'm going to be doing. And he asked when the gallery show is going to be. And I told him it is so much work to put together enough of a body of work to have a show with a consistent theme that it taunts me. It makes me think it's never going to be something I get to do. The only gallery show I ever did was of digital paintings because those were able to be completed so much quicker for me. I got my tricks down pat for digital painting, but there's no waiting for oils to dry or whatever. And then like the principles of creating realism in digital, there's so many other brushes and I don't know, just little ways to cheat it. But it is a style I love, or it is a medium I love, I mean. Okay, so I'm gonna try my hardest, like I said, to keep one brush for flushes and one brush for uptones. Can't catch myself slipping here. Yeah, everything it draws on a program called Clip Studio Paint. Just use a lot of gradients and layer effects to get lighting and stuff, and give depth to my noodles. Because to me, without depth, that sharing, bring, what's that shape? Shade, okay. Without depth of shading and whatnot, bring my cartoons just look a little lifeless. That makes sense. You look at any cartoons, and you're gonna see some kind of depth effect. If you go back to like Hanna-Barbera era cartoons, they got away with implying depth by having the giclées, I think they call them, the clear prints on top of each other, by leaving a little distance between the animated layer and the background layer, so it gave it the tiniest little shadow to separate it out. Pretty rad. And that's like, you know, the Flintstones. We don't really need realistic depth effects on the Flintstones, but it gave it that, and it did connect a little bit more lifelike. Feels definitely much more my thing. Grass paints and color pencils. I think if you know how to render shapes in digital, you will give yourself enough time and enough patience and enough interest. You will be able to render out some pretty good stuff. Like if you know the principles, you can port it to the medium, right? That's how I feel. Don't really know if that tracks, like for things like tattooing, impossible. You can't just pick up a tattoo machine and be good. Nobody's ever done that. But and if you have done that and you thought that you did good, you shouldn't be tattooing because you don't know what you're talking about. That's my lecture on that today. Sick. I can already see a guy just like kind of standing and holding his beer. That's fun. We're gonna put his wife next to him now. They've been going through a lot, so it's good that they got to get out of the house and blow off some steam and watch a hockey fight. I should be careful with my world building here. This is a real person, probably from the city of Detroit. Oh no, actually, the whole thing took place in Tampa. That's right. So who cares? They're not real people. Hello, Ellie Philly. Good to have you. Excited. We are having a good time. We're blocking in the background on a large painting of a hockey fight. It's a painting that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. We're having a great night. Feel free to jump in the conversation here. We're discussing other art mediums and what we like. Most people who tune into a live art stream are artists themselves. Sketch is already so good. Thank you. So I don't know if you were able to hear the beginning when I explained it, but this is a image transfer method that I've seen taught by a couple different people. I've used it one time before. This is definitely not my favorite way to paint, but this is this series of I'm doing a series of paintings, right? And I want to use different approaches. This approach is the one that has the least amount, in my opinion, just my personal preference, the least amount of excitement for the artist for like world building and whatnot. But it does have its advantages. So having said all that, for the image transfer, I literally had to print out this photograph at 3 foot by 4 foot, attached to a canvas, and then trace it as though I was tracing like a tattoo stencil on transfer paper. Normally, I like enjoy the I'm not gonna spend the entirety of the painting like dissing like one style and lifting one up over the other, but just to give you some context. Normally, I like to spend a lot of time learning the shapes and the relationships of the painting in the paint. So rather than doing the sketch first, I will set up my palette and I'll just jump in and start pushing stuff around. That's how I normally like to go about things. But for this style, I'm going to do it this way. And also, the beginning stages of this kind of approach are really exciting because you get to enjoy some big, juicy, yummy brush strokes. Because they're all going to get blended together in a little bit anyway. So yeah, let's go back into talking about this little husband and wife duo we got back here behind the glass. So, like I said, they really needed a night out. It's been a while. They've been really busy. This guy's been chipping away at his boss trying to get a promotion that's really going to help the whole family out. Kids are already out of the house. That's not something that they're worried about. What they're really excited about is developing some property that was willed to them, and they never knew really what to do with it. But after speaking with a financial advisor, it looked like they had the ability to develop it and maybe turn it into some commercial property. They never dealt with commercial before. They've only ever had residential property, like, you know, a home. Feel free to chip in. The cadet, you guys, you're all very welcome to add to the tale here. A little bit of a green, and I don't have that out, so I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow and blue here, just to get this little greenish gray color here. But yeah, the wife here, she's been going through some stuff of her own for a while. It's not really that big of a deal because it's, you know, her interests these days are more hobby related. She never really had to retire. She never really was the breadwinner, so to speak. She had to raise the kids, you know. That was definitely her contribution to the universe. But she tried so many different startup concepts, like, you know, those like MLM type things, like selling candles or novelty toys or, you know, whatever, and it just didn't really ever work out. But she's been really like excited to be tutoring kids in English. You know, she's from Tampa, so she speaks Cajun, and she's been teaching English to Cajun kids. She's been speaking Cajun like her whole life essentially, but now she can finally monetize that jump. So anyway, they came out for the hockey game, and they got to see a good fight. And I like to think that these people back here behind the glass, being immortalized in oils today, they said they saw that fight and they said this feels like a Renaissance painting. I like to think that. I don't really know if that took place. I like to think that. I have one more appointment this week. I got a tattoo to do tomorrow. That's all ready to roll, so I don't have anything to do tonight except work on this painting. Wifey's already going to bed early. Just paint. These are cool colors. I like this. Cadet says my mind is awesome. Give me a name for this couple, this gentleman and the lady that you've heard their life tales so far. Give me a name for this couple. And her name better have an "-ese" in it, like a Janice or a Denise or something like that. Cadet, so going back to your drawing program, I use Procreate. I used Photoshop for a little bit. I've never used Clip Studio. I don't know much about it. I know there are some ones that like manga artists were really into. I can't remember if that was Clip Studio or not. But I've never used that. I had my friend Jay growing up was incredibly proficient, believe it or not, at just Microsoft Paint, and he could do like really good hyper detailed designs just by zooming in and getting really tight. Eloise, that works. I like that. So you used Pocket Procreate if you did it on your phone. That's awesome. I use Pocket when my daughter's using my iPad and I'm laying in bed and I go, oops, I was supposed to draw that. I'll just open it on my phone. And anybody else in the world, like in an airport or wherever you're at, they're looking at you and they're just like, oh, just another human being playing on their phone. And I'm frantically trying to design a tattoo that's going to be $800. Okay, Eloise. What about the guy's name? Studio is mostly Japanese. Oh, okay. It's kind of expensive, but okay, yeah. So that might be the one that I was. Do you think that's the one I was thinking of? That people use for like anime. Almost done. Look at this lady. It's like greenish gray. It's like taupe, or not taupe. I use that word too much. These olivey type tones. Oh yeah, Gerard. Yeah, Gerard and Eloise. I'm happy they got out for them, you know? Well, Gerard and Eloise enjoying a night on the town. You know, here's the thing. They got an Uber. They knew what they were getting themselves into this evening. So that's why, you know, he's got no problem. His little beer here. And she's just happy to be out. Because again, they're in the town. They needed it. And they deserve it. Alright, I'm going to put another stanchion in here. I got a little pile of liquid mixing medium on my palette so that I can really spread this first layer out. Also, I want to don't want to spend a fortune on paint, you know? Alright, now let's pull a little more blue. Yes, you're right to assume Clip Studio is a manga program. I used to use Fire Alpaca, but is generously gifted a Clip Studio license a while back. Oh, did you go to school for digital art? I can already tell. We're only like 20 minutes into this, but I can already tell this painting is going to be so awesome. That line there, we don't need to worry about that edge. Also, I'm happy to say that Tyree told me he's going to throw me some new instrumentals for the backgrounds. I know we've been hours and hours and hours listening to the same little piano ditty in the background, but Tyree is a fantastic music producer. He's been working on it literally his whole life. Since I've known this dude, he's been dedicating all of his free time to the same artistic experience. So I'm really excited to get some new instrumentals from him. Now this looks like it's going to go further, because this actually darker. Zone height. I also draw with a displayless drawing tab. Oh yeah. Like a Wacom tablet. I remember having like a USB Wacom tablet with insane latency on it and just making do. And then, this is so funny, then it got to the point where I had a touchscreen laptop and I was literally laying my laptop in the normal laptop L shape down and hovering over it and using a stylus to draw on, because that's the only option I had. Look at me now, Ma. This dude back here, he's just turning and talking to a friend. He's barely even... Oh, he's looking at his phone, I bet you. Trying to like pull up his camera at a time. What a dork. Plan to go to college for graphic design, but nah. List from buddy. Most of my friends are also artists. Yes. Artists. Pirates. Hey people. I'd love to do an entire stream as Emperor Palpatine sometime. Yes, artists, my people. That sounds more like a pirate. I shouldn't even try it. There's it's a little early to try to throw painting knowledge in, but if this is the first time people are watching or whatever, I want everybody to get the full experience. So I'm gonna rehash a lot of stuff I said in the last painting stream. But there was a artist I really like. His name's Gustave Courbet, and his father was an artist and told him when he was younger, he said, big artists use big brushes, meaning don't get too caught up in tiny detail, really imply shapes, fields of color, whatnot, but you can use a big fat brush to do all that. I love that. I absolutely adore that phrase. Big artists use big brushes. Right now, this is step up from my micro painting that we did last time. This is a pretty large brush, but this is nowhere near these bad boys. But I don't need to worry about using that right now because I have a lot of tiny little shapes back here that I need to make sure I get indicated properly. And that big giant brush that I just held up, honestly, I might just use that for obliterating and blending out. So it all works. Person has quite a bit of white. I have to mix up a lighter white tone. It's not even Wacom tablet, some other stuff with latency isn't bad. USB and it's given out. That was what it was. Disconnecting over and over. If I can indicate some of this lighter blue and then just come in with a ton of white, flood this spot with a big brush really fast. Speed isn't the most important thing, obviously, but in doing this background, like in the beginning stages, honestly, of any painting, I'm really trying to get my ideas down as fast as I can to establish my, speed approach, if you will. But also, like, stuff that is blurred out, that is out of focus intentionally, it's not really, like, I can't care about it that much. I have to just move the brush, keep it moving, and the illusion is going to happen. There's no two ways about it. Like, you put the paint where it needs to go and it's gonna work, so you can't really be like, oh man, I really gotta super focus on this little edge here. It's gonna work, so that's not the point. The point is to get it committed to the canvas. So, having said that, I'm gonna try to move at the speed of thought however I can. However, let's see if I can get a nice fast block in here. It's cool how many people in this crowd are wearing Tampa Bay gear because it makes the background nice and cool because there's a lot of light blue tones. But that's really going to help later when I do a lot of these, you can see in the reference up here, a lot of these reds for the Red Wings jerseys. It's going to have a nice contrast to it. Make those jerseys pop. Don't you love it when you have a delicious dinner and you think it's over and you catch a little tiny piece of salt on the edge of your lip? Yeah, that was yummy. Squeak, squeak, purr. This third person, white t-shirt person, really blocked in a whole lot quicker than Eloise and Gerard. They have, they got some blocking issues. I'm just enjoying the process. Okay. Moving the brush. What albums have you been into lately, new or old? There's a new project, new death, very heavy deathcore band. I don't even know if it's deathcore, honestly. It's like definitely black metal. It's called Synestia. And it's the closest thing I've found to what I would assume the sounds of hell to be. It is incredible, frightening music, stuff that I'm like, I get into some dark stuff. That's my whole world, but Synestia is, they make me want to turn off the radio because I'm like frightened with what I'm hearing. So I would check them out. They have an EP called Premonitions. And there's a tune on there called Premonitions. Very cool. Highly recommend if you like to get into the really heavy. I know that you do more cadet. If you're looking for a suggestion, if you're not already familiar with them, I would check out the band Creeper from London. Their first couple albums. Incredible. Their later stuff also good, just not as punk rock. They change their style with every album, which is fun. But Black Rain, great album. I think that's what it's called. And then Sex, Death, and the Infinite Void is another one of their albums. That's very good, but that's a little bit more My Chemical Romance, Sock Hop Revival style. I got a thing for the singer. Very handsome man. Random's question, but yeah, definitely check out Synestia if you're into the dark stuff, and Creeper if you like English punk rock. All right, so this dude here, he's got like some blue up here and some blue up here, but also he's got a little bit of like warm tones in his shirt. So that's cool. What else have I been listening to? Yeah, I got kids, you know, so I end up listening to a lot of children's music in the car. I picked up an audiobook from Immanuel Kant. It's supposed to be like really difficult philosophy to get through. So that'll probably be my next, that'll probably take on my audio adventures for the rest of this year. It's just some philosophy stuff, but I watch a lot of stand-up at work and listen to metal when I get the opportunity to do so. Metal, though, I've been listening to metal for many years now, and apart from Opeth, I don't really enjoy metal music for the composition and the musicality. It's more just for the brutality. So that's what I really look for when I'm listening to metal, is like, you know, how brutal can it get? Who's the newest? This looks like a giant wiener. Who's the newest, deepest, darkest, heaviest in the game? I like the novelty of that, and that's also, you've heard some of the newer stuff that I'm making. That's also like what I like to make as well. But I have like a lot of lore building in my music that is what makes that fun for me. It's a pretty big, convoluted storyline that I'm working on for that particular album, so I'm probably gonna have to write it in novelization form to really be able to explain all the thoughts and the reasons behind what I'm doing. All right, now we can finally see like a head and some arms, you know, and the dude behind him that's trying to look at his phone because he's like looking in profile this way. So cool. Listening to children's music like Aquabats. You know, probably said My Chemical Romance. Aren't you excited? I have a My Chem tattoo. Big fan. It's cool. Avenged Sevenfold and Death by Stereo and stuff. My bands. Avenged Sevenfold. Yeah, they are definitely huge in my rotation. Their newest album, Life Is But a Dream, is phenomenal. It is a huge style departure. Very much reminds me of, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, this is not meant to be like a slam or pejorative, reminds me of when Guns N' Roses did Chinese Democracy, and it had such a different sound than everything else I was used to, but that's what made me enjoy it so much, is that it was different. The new Avenged stuff, it's really strong and emotional, and you know, if you're like me, you'll probably end up crying a couple times during the album because of the beauty of it and the tragedy of it. But apart from that, I think City of Evil is really good, and every other album that they put out pales in comparison a little bit. There's some, you know, they made some good decisions on other tunes, but I just think City of Evil has the best initial sound. You know, if you're trying to hear like what a band is going for, I know it's not the first album that they've done, but I think it's definitely the best example of that, if I may say so. And it's my stream, so I can say so if I want. It is so awesome. Yeah, I have my My Chem tattoo is lyrics from the song Mama, and it's I have like the gates of hell with flames pouring out of it, and it says, and if you call me your sweetheart, I maybe then sing you a song. If you then call me your sweetheart, I'll sing you a song. And the tattoo artist who did it for me is a big My Chem fan. He kept going on and on about how it wasn't a My Chem tattoo, it was a Liza Minnelli tattoo. And he made sure to tag Liza Minnelli in it when he posted it. It's not dead, I just missed it. So digging All Bad on Fire later, I'm not sure if you heard of them. I know that John is remixing and will likely remaster the old material, and I know you're a fan. I don't like that band. I'm not a fan of it. I love the passion, the energy, the concepts and everything, but we just had like some bad moments in that group. And I miss the guys, and I miss those creative parts of the process, but like there's enough to sour it at the end that made it feel like really trauma laden, you know? But if anybody ever said put some on, totally would. The last album we did, the Ripper album, is probably my favorite stuff that we did. It's got some vocal passages on there I was pretty proud of. That, you know, I didn't approach that band as a metal band. I approached it more as like a poppy metal band, I guess, like an Avenged type thing, but you know, weren't that fast or that talented, but in that world, something that wasn't radio rock, something that was obviously conceptual, but and a little bit bigger than what it led on. Third favorite band of all time. Luckily, you got to see them earlier this year, and they totally rocked. Yeah, I saw them I can't remember when it was. It was probably a year ago at this point. We had those tickets from like pre-COVID that we had got to finally get around to using because they finally came to town, and it was good. It was cool. It was seeing a band that I love for the first time, but out of their original era. So that made it a little like I would watch them and be like, man, I can only imagine what it used to be like, you know, that type of thing. Which is harsh, but you know what I'm saying, I hope. Like, Ween is one of my favorite bands of all time, but they peaked in the late 90s, you know? I don't think they're... like, they get together, they break up, they get together, they break up, that's the thing. I don't even know if they're together or broken apart now, but I know that if they came to town, I would pass on seeing them because I know that I would not get the best version of them. I would get the hey guys, do you remember us type version. And I just wish I could be... I wish I could, you know, go back in time and be in it. What else you guys got? Really? Favorite band of all time? Like more than Aquabats? Aquabats, Coffin Cats. For real? No way, man. That's awesome. I love hearing that. So then I think maybe, you know, you can tell that I'm not being too cruel with my opinion. I'm not wanting to see him now because I didn't really get to see him back then. Unless I go into it knowing that it's like, that's the, you know, the experience I'm going to get out of it. God, I love Ween so much, man. I'm trying to figure out a good Ween tattoo that isn't just the Boognish, like, logo. Something that's a little special to me. I just don't know. I don't know which way to go with it, man. I discovered Ween on a road... Well, that's not true. I discovered Ween back in the 90s, but then they disappeared from my periphery entirely. And then I was on a road trip by myself once, and I just pulled up YouTube, and I just started streaming their music. And it was banger after banger, and I was like, this band is, like, awesome. Like, incredibly talented. Very funny. I love shtick. I love ICP and all that stuff, so it's like the goofiness, like, I was right at home with that. But man, Ween is so solid. Just the other day I was gonna get a Ween logo tattoo on my body. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure, maybe not to the entire degree, but I'm sure similar to ICP, I would be like, all right, I gotta really make sure I'm ready for this one because these guys may have said something in the past. They may say something, you know, in the future that is not cool, and I just gotta, you know, be ready to defend that. No, it's about the art, not about the artist type thing. But God, I don't even know where to go with that. So White Pepper, fantastic record, has a lot more seriously crafted songs on it. It still has some goofiness on it, but I like Even If You Don't. I love that song. Pandy Fackler, I think, is on White Pepper. White Pepper and the Mollusk are like the two solid ones for me. I don't go back much farther. Well, that's not true. I go back to Chocolate and Cheese. I don't go any further back than that. But like their really, really underground karaoke machine type stuff before they got like their signed distribution deal and all that. I don't go back that far. I've tried, but it's you know, it feels like it belongs to somebody else. I like Freedom of 76 and onwards. But yeah, if I could think of some great imagery from a song, that would probably be the way to go for me. Is just to turn it into an image and then call it a day. You know, something nondescript, something that isn't just their band logo. Like, for instance, I'm incredibly inspired by Weezer, and that shocks people because they don't really... If you don't get Weezer, you don't get it. You know, it's like there's a big thing going on with them. And it's a lot bigger than just, you know, making some tunes. There's a huge message of positivity in that, in a beautiful, ironic way. So anyway, my Weezer tattoo that I've designed but I haven't gotten yet is just a little Polaroid picture with the Weezer logo in it. And that's for Weezer, but more specifically for the song Photograph. So I gotta do something similar for Ween, right? But I gotta find the right song for it. I don't want to do anything like a downer. I don't want to do like If You Could Save Yourself somehow as a tattoo design. But maybe something from Buckingham Green. That's a dope song. Ocean Man, I don't know. Besides doing SpongeBob, I don't really know how I could turn that into an image. I'm blanking on so many of the songs right now. What's the one? Oh, Stay Forever. If I can somehow figure out that, because that really makes me feel a lot, and it makes me think of my wife who I love so much. Stay Forever. Definitely could use tattoo design. The mouse gives me genuine goosebumps still. Not Quebec, that's one of my favorites. A ton of Ween songs are pretty epic. I feel there's almost too many options. So Quebec, let me, what do I like from Quebec? I think, is Captain on Quebec? Captain! Among His Tribe is on that too, right? Ween is really easy to sing along to as well, so that makes it fun for me. I don't do karaoke, but if anybody ever wanted to go do karaoke, I would be like, can I sing Ween? And you'd have to sing it with the Gene voice. The palace of ice, wouldn't that be nice? Is it paradise? I'm the commander of time, in my vessel of God. I go through the rift, through the palace of ice. Quebec is really weird, and I love it for that. Oh, dude, don't get me started on 12 Golden Country Greats. It's one of like the best albums I've ever heard. I have a story about that makes me so angry. I found at a used record store in the Metro Detroit area a sealed, original, never opened copy of 12 Golden Country Greats CD. And one time I had it on, and it was only the opening track. I had it on in my car. My dad heard it, and he was like, "What is this?" And he's like from the country western background, and so I just said, "Oh yeah, this is the band Ween. Like, you know, they make silly songs, but then they also make this stuff." He's like, "This is not easy to play." At that time, I didn't know that they had amazing session musicians playing all those like the steel guitar and all that stuff. I just assumed that Dean and Gene figured it out because they're that good. But anyway, I found that CD still sealed at a record store, so I bought it for my dad for Christmas. And he opened it, and he was like, "What is this?" And I explained it, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that." And he set it down next to him, and he never opened the cellophane, never listened to it, never anything. Like, come on, man. This thing's been sitting in plastic for like 20 years. You're not going to pop it out? Share this moment with me, damn you. Is Chocolate Town on Quebec? Because that is a song that is a mood, and I put that song on just to feel like the beat of the, like, just the rhythm of the snare roll. God, it's so good, and it has no connection all to the classical song Bolero, but it just gives me the same vibe where it just kind of like just rolls, man. And like I said, it's a vibe. That's how I feel. Like, oh god, I gotta put on Chocolate Town. Make it dark, make it brown, sail brown bay to Chocolate Town. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Boom. Chocolate Town's on Quebec. Okay. And Save Yourself, I believe, is the last track on Quebec, so that's a solid one. La Cucaracha's great. I mean, all of their albums are incredible band. Anybody that's watching this stream that doesn't know Ween, Turn me off. I'm not interesting. Listen to Ween. That's going to be the best thing that you can do for yourself tonight. Okay, so let's go back. What was the first, and I'll tell you mine, but cadet and algebra, I'm serious. What was the first memory you have of when you discovered Ween, how you found them? That's so awesome that we get to talk about this. I'm so happy. Got another stanchion. This big blue line. It's just one of the stanchions. Stanchion, if you're not familiar, it's that piece of separator that the glass slides into. I was incorrect though. This one, I called that a stanchion earlier. That's just a gap between these people. That's a stanchion. Big piece of glass, stanchion, big piece of glass. Let's repeat. All right, so moving on. Gotta get next to this ref's helmet here. Start blocking in the dark part first. Take it from there. This has a dude who's got like his hand up. It's pretty animated. I haven't heard anything yet from Cadet, so I feel like I'm getting a long story typed out here. Ooh, I forget the name of it, but Cold Blows the Wind. That's probably my favorite bit of imagery that Ween has ever done. I wonder if meeting those dudes would be worth it. It could be a situation where it's like, they're not cool, don't meet them. Don't meet your heroes type thing. Or it could be like the best. It's tricky for me to guess at, right? Like Rob Zombie is one that I've been putting it off, doing the VIP, to just shake the hand, say thank you and all that stuff, but it's like, oh man. He could remain somebody that I never see in person and still remain mythic. Whereas every other person that I've ever sought out to meet, celebrity-wise, it always humanizes them to a degree that I just never look at them the same after the day that I meet them. You shake the hand, you say thank you for all your contribution, you know, you helped influence me this way, that way, and they're always grateful. Not always, sometimes they're dicks, but always grateful, and then you move on, and you're just like, oh yeah, I remember the time I met that dude, and then it just recontextualizes the entire thing. And in a lot of cases, makes it, it puts like a cap or like a piece of closure on the relationship between fan and art, you know? And then oftentimes it doesn't. First time I put on Godwin Satan, I think it was the first time I listened to it. That's awesome. The first time I heard Ween was on, this is going to date me, but I feel like you get a lot of 90s references and you'll know what I'm talking about here. It was the Chef Aid soundtrack. It was a South Park soundtrack. They had like a fake music festival in one of their episodes called Chef Aid. And there's a lot of big name artists did tracks for the album, for the soundtrack. they had like, I feel like Master P was on there, and the No Limit Soldiers, and I know Ween was on there, and I'll talk about that in a second, but I saw that, and they had a song that was there's many colors in the homo rainbow, don't be afraid to let your colors shine. And I was like, oh, that's silly. And then my brother's like, oh yeah, you gotta hear these guys, they're so funny. And then he showed me Boys Club, and I just laughed and laughed and laughed. And then they were solidified in my mind as a silly band. And I heard Fat Fuck, and that, like, you know, made me giggle, and I was like, oh, okay, so they're a joke band. And then I just didn't get into it for many, many years after that. And then, like I said, that one road trip, I popped it on to pass the time and burned through their discography. It was a 19-hour drive. I went through the discography and then started from the top and did it all again. And I was like, I don't know how this is the case, but this might be one of the most important bands I've ever listened to. Same for me. That was technically my first exposure to Ween besides SpongeBob. Oh, for real? Chef Aid? That's cool. Yeah, man. I mean, I got a South Park tattoo. I got a Rob Zombie tattoo. I gotta immortalize these guys in the skin. I hope it's translating on the stream right now, that you can see in the reference that's in the upper corner of the stream video. I'm hoping you can see what I'm putting down on the canvas and how it correlates to the original photograph. I set it up like that, but I didn't really like zoom in section to section. I'm not trying to reproduce it one-to-one right now. I'm just working on the background. So maybe in future streams I can like isolate the part that we're painting and then the part that I'm looking at on the canvas, or I'm sorry, on the reference. I'm so sorry. Some black to destroy the chromatic value of that. Nice, very nice. It's progress. That's why I cried, because just like the kid from South Park, and actually I chose that name, I think. Do you have a chosen name? I never did that. I read all of Kafka's major works, and the name, simply the letter K, comes up quite frequently there, so I thought of maybe just abbreviating my name and going just with just K. And I don't know, just never did it. My brother Flash, that's I won't dead name him, but that's his chosen name. I thought about it, right? Because like you don't get to choose your name at birth; it's given to you, and then that assumes an identity, and that identity is placed upon you, and then you live within that constructed identity that somebody else attached to you before you had any choice in the matter. So, you guys know the movie Big Daddy with Adam Sandler? There's a scene in there where he's like, Julian, you even like that name? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, what would you want your name to be? And he goes, Frankenstein. And he goes, Frankenstein, it's a good name. All right, you go have fun, Frankenstein. That, I don't know if Sandler knew what he was doing with that, but that was kind of like a existential moment in that film. We gave the kid the option to choose his name. I'm sure, like, you know, there's this rule where it's like if you see it on camera, then it's a intentional decision, right? Like that's just a filmmaking principle. So I would have to assume that he knew what he was doing with that little bit of dialogue, but if not, then what a delightful treat that was. That's that dude's like jacket. Let's start plugging in his flesh tones, shall we? Actually, what I chose the name. I go by a different name because I'm trans. It's very funny. Go by a different name. Okay. Yeah, I'm not trans. I don't know. I think about the concept of identity, and sometimes I feel like I need to detach or decouple from the modern idea of the self, you know? This doesn't really have much to do with trans people, but just something I'm thinking about out loud here. Because, you know, these painting sessions are therapy for me, too. I'm just kind of letting my chi flow here. Flutes of Chi, another amazing song. But yeah, anyway, I think of concepts of identity and wonder, like, you know, is there a therapy or a freedom that comes with redefining who you are, what you are? Is there a completion that comes with that? Again, not necessarily referring to trans people, but just to like humans, you know. I didn't ask for this name. It was given to me. And there's a slight chance that this name was given to me named after a pet monkey of my father's. They deny that up and down. But I choose to believe that's what's going on because it's funnier to me. Yeah, if I ever did, and it'd be confusing to my kids, and I just have to keep explaining it to them, and then eventually they'll get it. Plus they're kids, so they're gonna be faster on the up on this stuff than I am. But I would simply just go by K, the letter K. Very exciting. I can see it when I check out the stream on my phone to check the chat down here. I can see what you guys see, and it, like, from a distance, it's starting to make sense, isn't it? These people in the background. When I'm right up on it and painting, it's like a lot harder to understand what you're looking at besides just shapes and color. It's all so complicated, fascinating, so we're supposed to think about sometimes. Yeah. Identity. Who am I? I don't know. Ah! Okay, let me plug in. I need to do this bottom beam here, and now that I'm up to this referee helmet, I'll knock that one out, and then I'll come over the top of the helmet that way. That's just this color straight up. Okay, this one was pre-mixed from a couple days ago. I just, had some time and spent about an hour mixing up my tones for the background session of this painting. I want to keep, even though this is going to blur a little bit, I want to keep a relatively straight line running across the railing here. Even though it's going to blur out, it's going to blur out with like a straightness to it. This is really freeing, this big brush painting. Freeing from the last 2 months of chipping away at that small micro brush painting. This is chef's kiss. It feels So fun. So rewarding already, and it's just a blurred out background. I find it's really easy to jump into art, even if I'm not inspired, because it became a job many years ago for me as a tattooer. You just have to show up, and your client's there, so it's like, all right, I guess we're gonna start doing the tattoo today. So you don't get the luxury to say like wait around until you're inspired in the tattoo world. You just have to do the job as soon as the job starts. So anyway, having said that, I'm just sitting here thinking about this job, streaming and painting, and how it's like, all right, I don't have my time locked down necessarily of what time I'm going to stream on what days, but it is kind of just falling into place to be relatively the same times each week. But where was I going with any of that? I was trying to get at there. But yeah, it's like, all right, it's time to go. Let's start streaming. Click the camera on, click the intro on, get after it, and boom. But like the reward, my God, like the therapeutic reward of painting. It's almost like, you know what, I'm a professional artist, I'll say it outright. It's better than the therapy I get from like going to the gym. You know how you feel so much better about yourself after you do it? Painting is way more powerful in that regard for me. Again, relatively straight line here, even though I'm gonna buff it to out of existence. And directly below, I got this other little line here on my reference. It looks like that's where it kind of double visions out into a lighter blue tone, so I'm gonna put that in right now too. This I need to be a little bit more careful with. This will definitely be a situation where I gotta put some white on top of that, paint on paint, to make sure I maintain the edge that I need. That sounds so silly. To maintain my edge, bro. Now to maintain the straightness of that crossbeam on the boards. I'm just gonna drop some white directly on top of that. And when we blend, hopefully it takes care of the wobbliness. There's a lot of pencil sketch on this too that I'm really hoping, if I do this all correctly, I'm really hoping none of it peeks through. But that is a normal thing, to have a little bit of my pencil sketch peek through on this style of painting approach. Because as you recall from the last series of videos, that approach, there is no pencil sketch, so you don't even have to worry about it. There is the armature, the rectangle sketch, and sometimes that's like a similar problem, so I guess it's still there. But for me, those charcoal lines, I really don't want them to pop through. Where are we at? I will check this in a minute. It is starting to come together. Starting to see it as a background of people, huh? It's pretty rad. I'm happy so far. Let's see. I can take this a little bit further over this way. Have you guys been watching The Chair Company? Oh my god. I've watched the entire series 3 times so far. Well, the first 5 episodes, because there's still only 5 episodes released. But this has been like such a gift, this series. Cadet, do you have pronouns that you prefer I use? I always default to dude because it's pretty universal, but some people worked really hard to gain their pronouns, so should have used them the right way. Let me know. Sorry, I missed a couple things. You said never heard of that. What were we talking about? I forgot what we were even talking about. I have bad ADHD. I always say bad. I don't know what that means. Right? If things are on a spectrum, then it just is. It doesn't matter where it's at. There's no good or bad. It just exists. Adjust my little reference I got on the floor here. This is the giant paper reference again for anybody that's wondering what I keep staring at on the floor. This is the thing that I originally put together to trace my image transfer out on. Save my neck a little bit of trouble if I could have this propped up here, so let's see if that works. Only in a little bit, so that's fine. We'll just let it chill. Okay, so back to it. I know all those paper noises. Oh my god, I have a very sensitive microphone here. I try not to hurt its feelings. I have a very sensitive microphone right next to all that, and I'm sure it just destroyed your household. I'm very sorry. For you, I regret nothing personally, but I'm very sorry that you had to deal with that. Like, I am logging off right now. So this corner here is background. Alright, cool. This is about halfway through the upper part of the background here. I'm going to plug in some down here, and then maybe we can call it for today. I'd love to keep going. I have a warm, cozy bed. So let's put in the white that goes here, these corporate logos over here, and then we can, at the obliterating brush and see what we can pull out of it. So I will start actually with these corporate logos on the other side, down this way. Pretty simple setup here. Richer blue. These. Fades out to a lighter white blue. Everything else. So just kind of fill in these spots here. Lighter but more like a mid-tony shield. This is obviously a Blue Cross Blue Shield logo. I'm so excited for this painting. Really happy with this reference. Been trying to do the dishes for an hour, but I keep getting distracted by the painting. That's fine. Dishes can wait. Art is forever. That's my next t-shirt. Just the dishes can wait, art is forever. I said that as a joke, but that's actually not a bad t-shirt idea. All right, again, these are going to be blurred out, so I'm okay with keeping them a little bit rough. Not much, but a little bit rough. I gotta get a lighter blue tone here. Stuff, and we can start plugging in the white, and once the white's in, we can just grab a blending brush and obliterate it to all hell and see what we got for the night. It's very exciting step of the game. I feel like on my reference it's a little lighter than that, so I'm gonna mix it a little bit for the rest of this. Yeah, that's dishes are temporary, art is forever. You can make art out of dishes, you cannot make dishes out of art. Speaking of making dishes out of art, something I've never done that I've always wanted to do, and it just takes the gall to go for it, is I've never paid for a meal with a painting. That's a very a classic artisty move. Artisty, you know what I mean? Classic artist move if you want to talk about like Picasso era French painters. I don't have any money, but I can paint a quick picture of your building and leave it for you if you want to hang it in the lobby. Oh, sure. I did once deliver a painting to a client in a upscale restaurant where we had the easel set up and had like a sheet over it, and it was actually a nude, which is awesome too. But we had a sheet over it, and then I had the client met me for dinner. We sat and had some wine and some like charcuterie in front of the easel. I was like, all right, is it time? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then I revealed the painting, and the whole restaurant broke into applause. That was one of my favorite memories as an artist. Something here, I don't really know what it is, but I can see in the reference. So drop that in before I fill this with white. Everything else in this is just straight white. Now you might be thinking, why put the white pigment in at all if we already have a white canvas? And I'll answer that question because the how should I put it? The consistency of this paint going down is important to the overall painting. It'll look like there's just a hole in the middle of it if we don't put some kind of pigment in there. the blendability, like blending one tone and blurring into the other, you need wet paint to do that. You can't just blend it into nothingness. You can, but it's gonna like scrape the canvas and leave just a whole mess of like holes and bumps and stuff that are gonna be distracting and not look natural. So just to keep this as natural as possible, even if it's white, we're gonna fill the whole area with straight white. And it'll make a whole lot more sense later when we look at the final painting, whenever that happens to be. Got that in there, and I'm going to come over this section and flood this, and we will blend out what we did today, and that'll be the end of today. I think tomorrow, I will be streaming again tomorrow. I think tomorrow's stream will be just continuing the upper portion of the background. And then if we can knock that out relatively quickly, which we may be able to, we may not be able to. It's hard to say at this point because this took a little bit longer than expected, right? But who cares? Time is irrelevant in painting. But if we can knock that out in a relatively quick time, we all still have the energy, then I will start working on the ice, because I want to get the entire background done before I work on the foreground for very specific effect reasons that I'm going. A very specific effect I'm going for. Just say for reasons and that. My friends once bought another one of our friends an entire pizza in exchange for a drawing. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I was chatting with one of the other clients that were in the shop, not the person I tattooed today, but another person. And she works at a comic book store and referenced like her roommates. And we were talking about nerdy dorky stuff, and I was thinking, I remarked to her, I was like, you know, I don't know how to like articulate this properly, but I like that we all found each other, we meaning dorks, and that life is hard, rent is expensive, roommates are a necessity for most people, but that like for this era in history, that turns into hanging out and playing Magic or board games. That's awesome. That's a really good feel. That makes me feel good. Because that's positive, you know, just hanging out with your homies and playing Smash Bros or something. That's way better than grueling and filth and muck to produce wares or grains for the monarchy. Going on about. Squeak, 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 creak, creak, creak. Almost a blendy time, almost a blendy time. I have a perfect brush, brand new, ready to go for the obliteration process here. I've been told, nay, I've used, after been told, so I have the experience, that just like a big 4-inch house painting brush is like, you know, the whip for large scale obliterating. I don't have that, but I do have a pretty wide gesso brush that's brand new. Bristles are a little stiff, but I don't mind it. It's all right for what we're doing here. I'll just put less pressure down and hopefully it does the trick. Okay. Let's blur this out. Let's make important skill for people, especially geeks, to be able to make shoe life situation fun. Of course, we're hit with this this thing where they're like, you know, first generation to have it worse than their parents. Fine, who gives a shit? Let's have fun. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and obliterate. Now, what that means for me, what that means for this, is taking like a big brush and just going kind of light pressure over everything and blending all these tones into each other. You can go in with like a small round and blend these little bands one next to the other, but come on, that's not gonna be as fun as what we're about to do here. So I'm gonna move this painting so I don't put it on the floor, because this is gonna get a little wild here. But yeah, let's stand up for this part. Obliterate away. Minimal pressure, I'm going to go cross hatch it. I'm going to go up, down first, and then left, right after that. And the goal is just make this look as out of focus as possible. The more blurred, the better, because this is the background, right? So there's no such thing as an oops with what we're doing right now. Just trying to get as out of focus and blurred as we can. And this is really going to set up the foreground and make the sharp focus realism look way sharper. Because in contrast to the background, the foreground will be hyper detailed, and the background will be, I don't know, what would you call the opposite of hyper detailed? Hyper diffused? Again, trying to make sure I can do this in a way, my big belly's in the way of this camera, isn't it? Trying to make sure I can do this in a way where, I lost my train of thought. Whatever. Okay. ADHD for the victory. Now there's some pencil lines peeking through here. I might have to blend that out later. I might be able to leave it. I might be able to paint right over it. But not too worried about that. I keep scraping off excess paint up here on the edge of the canvas from my brush. Now I'm going to do X's. I cross-hatched it, now I'm going to do some X's. Meaning go like I'm writing the letter X all over everything. I don't want any hard lines on here. It's hard lines equals in focus. And then after I finish this will be the end of our stream, but I'll pull the camera up nice and close and give you some good details of what we got here. I like this guy. This guy is awesome. His little horseshoe hair and trying to show somebody something on his phone. Likely, I don't know. Oh, Eloise and Gerard. Good to see you. Happy you can make it out. Oh, this is very satisfying. Very satisfying. Cool. Let me hold this camera up a little bit closer so you can see the blurred effects. Pretty cool. Bring it back off the wall a little bit so you can see that better. Yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. This painting's gonna have a lot of good depth, I can already tell. We'll leave that where that's at. We'll call it here. What do we end up? An hour and 42 minutes. It's a longer stream than we normally would do for one of these streams, but I had fun. It sounds like we all did. To everybody in the chat, Algebra, Cadet mostly. Who's the other person that's from Philly? Ellie Philly. Thank you so much, everybody, for swinging by. And I look forward to doing some more tomorrow. If you can make it, awesome. If not, no biggie. Yeah. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hope you had fun. Peace.